about this drill that we use to warm up. So the guard can be divided into 3 different phases. The engagement phase, which is what we just worked on. The maintenance phase, that's where the person is actually using the guard to set up attacks. They're maintaining their guard, they're setting up their offense. And then the retention phase, that's where I'm initiating guard passes. So if we're playing guard, if we're on the bottom, we're trying to win the engagement phase so that we can move into the maintenance phase. If we're on top, we're trying to win the engagement phase so that we can put our opponent in the retention phase. All right, so I'll use this terminology so that way it kind of helps you guys out as we go along. But we're going to be focusing on passing the guard this week. And passing the guard is one of the most difficult skills that you can learn in jiu-jitsu, not because it's difficult to pass somebody's guard who doesn't know what they're doing, but because it's really difficult to pass somebody who knows how to use their guard. And the reason for that is because I'm challenged with getting past all of my opponent's strongest mechanisms. Their leg press, their frames, their hips. I have to get through all of these lines of defense before I can finally get past their guard. And just so that we're all clear, passing the guard means this. If I manage to get around my partner's legs and control their hips, we generally use a 3 count. If I manage to do this, I have passed Coach Seth's guard. And the reason this is advantageous is because I'm no longer facing his legs. And the legs are extremely strong because your leg press is the strongest lift that we can do as a human. So the leg press is always going to be a constant threat. So when we pass the guard, this is what I'm trying to do. Now with that out of the way, so that we all are on the same page as to what a guard pass is, let's talk about our main concept for guard passing. Our main concept for guard passing in jiu-jitsu is going to be to use our opponent's legs as levers to turn their hips away from us. This is going to allow us to control their hips and pass the guard. So let's show a little example here. If I'm playing guard against Coach, right now I'm standing directly in front of his legs. If I were to just run forward, I'm not going to get anywhere. Additionally, if I were to start to walk around his legs, he's going to follow me. Turn to your knees, please, Coach. He's going to follow me. He's going to maintain this frame position with his legs. Again, he's using a leg press to keep me away. We say this often, you're not going to pass a good guard through sheer force of will. I'm not just going to say, you know what, it's go time, and then I just kind of fly forward. You're not going to pass a good guard like that. I need to understand that in order to pass his guard, I need his legs to be facing one way so that I can go the other way. So it's like I'm trying to sneak around his legs, in other words. Most guard passes that we use are going to follow this concept, turning the opponent's knees so that we can get around their legs. Of course, there are guard passes that enable us to go through the guard, such as knee sliding, and this is generally what we would use when our opponent is skilled enough to not let us turn their knees away. So for tonight, we're going to focus on the leg drag. This is one of the most important guard passes that we can learn because it is probably the purest expression of lever control to turn the hips away. So before we actually get into this guard pass, I want to warm up with a little drill to help the bottom person understand how to follow and keep your opponent in your headlights when we're in this recumbent position. So the top person is going to start like this. We're going to be using C grips to control their ankles. And I want to be using direct control, meaning I'm going to actually be holding onto his limbs as opposed to proxy control with the pants. The reason I'm opting for the direct control is because I need to get leverage over his hips. If I'm controlling the pants, he still has the ability to move his legs, start stepping on my biceps, and keeping me away. So I'm going to start off, 2 hands, right down on top. I should be able to see my knuckles. Now I'm keeping regulated tension on his legs, meaning I'm not just sitting here and not doing anything, but I'm also not just slamming his feet into his butt. I'm keeping regulated tension, so as he moves, I'm putting the appropriate amount of force to keep his legs where I want them. Notice my posture. I'm not upright because I can't grab his legs. My knees are bent. My hips are back. This is going to enable me to keep my legs hidden so he can't start to access my legs, and my hands are going to be the first thing that's controlling his guard. So the warm-up is going to be this. I'm simply going to hold his ankles, and I'm going to walk around his legs. As I walk around his legs, the bottom person is going to be following me and turning to their side. Just like this. I'll then go the other way. Side to side. This is a drill for the top and the bottom person. The bottom person is maintaining what we call a knee-elbow connection. He's keeping his knees and his elbows close. He's in the cannonball position where his knees are tucked in. If Coach Seth didn't follow me, so let's say Coach Seth doesn't know how to play guard, Well, there you go. There's your first guard pass. Just walk around their legs, okay? However, we're not preparing ourselves for someone who has no idea what they're doing. We're preparing ourselves for someone who has a pretty good grasp of this. So again, I'm here. His elbows and knees are in tight. As I move, he's simply going to turn his body and face me. I'm going to go the other way, side to side. Okay, we're going to do this 30 seconds, and then you'll switch top and bottom. All right, guys? Does anybody have any questions on this first drill? This is going to show us how we're going to set up the leg drag. Okay? On two. 1, 2. So does anybody have any questions on this basic drill, understanding how to keep the regular tension on their ankles and how to just walk from side to side? All right, here's why we're doing that. If Coach Seth is on his back, I'm going to demonstrate what a leg drag looks like, so that way we know what we're working towards tonight. But then I'm going to talk about why we just did that drill, okay? Here we go. This is a leg drag. Now, here's why we did that drill. If I'm going against a guard player, he's not going to just allow me to start turning his legs away. However, if he knows how to play guard, he understands that he's going to be turning to follow me. So we're going to use that to get ourselves into the leg drag position. Let me explain. So we're starting off in the exact same position. I'm going to start by walking, and he's going to be turning me just like he should. However, now that he's facing this direction, he's given me the side that I'm going to leg drag on. So I'm going to be dragging both of his feet in the direction that he's now facing. So he's facing his right, my left. So I'm going to be dragging both of his feet in that direction. Again, if I'm just standing right here, it's a tall ask to just take his legs and try to turn them away. However, if he's already turned his legs for me, he's done part of the work. So we're here. He's already turned his legs for me. So I like to think of it like this. His feet, the bottoms of his feet, that's his guard. I'm always trying to get the bottoms of their feet pointing away from me. So it's not so much me trying to push his legs down onto the floor. All I'm trying to do is just, if there's lines coming out from the bottom of his feet, I want those lines to not point at me. So this is the leg drag. That's all a leg drag is. Some people confuse the leg drag and they make it too complicated. All I'm trying to do, take those ankles and those heels, turn them away. However, as I do this, I'm walking, he's turning. When I drag his legs, I'm focusing primarily on this top leg. I want to pull that leg or the ankle into my armpit as my opposite hand punches down to the floor. Again, this is where the C grip comes in really handy. I'm getting really good manipulation over these levers because I'm using the C grip. If I were to be grabbing the pants, not as much. So again, we turn. He's facing the direction on my left, so I'm going to drag his legs to that direction. Notice how I'm squatting down low with him. Now, we're going to use a placeholder system. We used this last week. My left hand, my left arm, I should say, is only so long. I can't continue to keep this leg in the same position because my arm is completely extended out. So what I'm going to use is my left leg as the placeholder for my left hand. So now I'm still manipulating this lever, but I'm progressively moving my body higher and higher up his hips. So we're dealing with this frame first, these feet. This is the first frame. Now I'm going to start moving up to control the next set of frames, the knees. If I don't step my leg forward, it's not the end of the world. Against an untrained opponent, I can just do this. I can just leg drag and start coming down. However, against a more skilled opponent, I'm trying to control each frame battle one at a time. So again, we're here. I turn him, I drag. Guys, whatever side his legs are on, that foot steps up. So I'm not going to cross my legs. Okay, this is a very dangerous position because now my feet are in a line, I can get swept. So I want to have his legs turned away, step my left foot straight up. Now, once I'm here in this position, I can let go with my left hand, and I'm going to bring that left elbow in front of his thigh. My knee is touching my own elbow. Now, we're almost done getting to the leg drag position. All we have left to do is the leg smash. So I'm going to be smashing his knees together, like I want to make a sandwich out of our legs. So once I'm here in this position, I'm going to put my knee on the mat and my hands on the mat. Now, when I say a leg sandwich, I'm talking his leg, his leg, in that order. Of course, we can leg drag from the feet. We got a guy trying to come in here to take over. We can drag from the feet like this, but I'm not going to have as much control over this lever right here. So again, my knee goes on the mat, and I get my chest down low. Now, once we're here, this is the leg drag position. For all intents and purposes, I have passed his guard. His guard is pointing over there, and if you notice, I'm actually not in between his legs anymore. But we're going to understand how to get here and ride this position, because the next battle is going to be the frame battle against the arms. Okay, guys? So, a couple quick notes. Once I'm here in this position, if his foot is able to make contact with the floor, he can start driving his knees into me. So, to alleviate this, I'm going to take my foot and I'm going to start pointing my knee at him, flaring my heel out, getting his foot off the mat. And I'm going to turn my body as much as I need to. At this point, it's going to be very difficult for him to generate base and put that foot on the mat. If you'd like to add this piece in, feel free. If not, freeze right here once you get into the leg smash position. Alrighty, guys. So, our next piece is going to be starting from the feet again. Ankle control. I walk, he turns. I drag in the direction he's facing. His legs are on my left. I step up with my left. I start to bring my body in front of his top knee and put my knee on the mat. My right foot is still out, guys. It's okay to put the knee on the ground. However, if you don't have a good semblance of base, you might get knocked over. So, keeping this foot out is going to be a good fail-safe, but it needs to match my force vector. So wherever he's pushing, that foot needs to match where his energy's going. Okay, guys? Once we're here in this position, we're done. We're going to talk about how to actually finish the pass by defeating the frames. All right, guys, this seems like a lot, but don't worry. This is all we're going to focus on this class, is just the leg drag. I'll do it from a different perspective. Again, once I'm here, we're all set. If you'd like to add in the foot flare to keep his foot off the mat, denying him base, feel free. Otherwise, just keep your chest heavy, smash his knees together. Okay, I'll do one more time from a different angle. Actually, let's go this way. Here we go. Again, I'm kind of perpendicular with him. This enables me to keep my foot flared, accessing his knee to ankle lever and prevent him from getting base. Otherwise, I'll just be here, keeping his legs smashed together. Does anybody have any questions? Would anyone like to see it again? All right, guys, 1, 2. So in my opinion, this is the hardest battle, is just getting to the leg drag position, okay? Because again, it's going to be a fight. That's why we looked at how to enter into that position against this trained opponent who's going to be following you with the headlights. Once we're there, now we actually need to get to a top position, right? So think side mount, knee on belly, maybe the back, whatever it may be. So everything was looking good. I get the reaction. This is the trigger right here. As soon as I notice that he's committing and following me, that's the trigger to go, okay? So I'm here, there's the trigger, and I go, okay? When I drag, it needs to be a continuous motion. I don't want to do this. Stop, think about it, then go. I'm just letting his legs naturally move in the direction they started in. So when I'm here, I drag and I get in quick, okay? So as soon as we're here, now we're going to deal with the frame battle. And this can be particularly annoying, especially if you have a good guard player, because what I mean by frame battle is they're going to start using their arms to push you away. So the first frame that we're going to deal with is just going to be the elbow frame. So if I did a really good job of, I'm going to switch the mic here. If I did a really good job of getting into the leg drag position, and I've already gotten most of the way down, he's really only going to be able to use this elbow to block me. So there's two ways to deal with frames in jiu-jitsu. The first option is going to be to disconnect and get ourselves underneath the frame. The second option is going to be changing our orientation to break the frame down. So we're going to do both depending on how they frame. So the first frame here with the forearm, we're simply going to disconnect. What that means is I'm going to use my C grip, just like we used earlier. I'm going to put my C grip right in the crook of his elbow. I'm going to move myself away as I push his elbow away. And now at the same time, I get underneath that frame. This is going to enable us to do a couple of things. Number one, it opens up the back. I start turning the corner, here's my seatbelt, and I can immediately fit in for the chair sit. This is what we worked on 3 weeks ago, right, when we were attacking the back. And now I can immediately start chair sitting from here. So we're gonna get into the leg drag position, just like you guys are doing. Once I'm here, partner on the bottom, use your forearm to block them, whether it's on their body, their neck, not the face, because that's not cool, right? But he's gonna be blocking me. I wanna make sure I'm keeping his legs smashed together. I don't wanna do this and start pulling my body too far away, because then he's able to re-guard, okay? It's a quick motion. As soon as I encounter it, pop it away and get underneath it. So again, we're disengaging. I move away, I get his arm off of me, and I go underneath his frame. Once I get underneath his frame, we're gonna come up, hold his head, and all we're gonna do, guys, in order to finish and get behind him, we're just gonna start walking towards his head, okay? So I'm gonna start turning my chest to get it onto his spine. Remember, like I'm trying to take his back. So I'm gonna turn, walking my feet, keeping my chest heavy on his spine with my active toes, and now I'm here. You don't have to do the chair sit, guys, all right? But if you remember it, feel free. But once I'm here, not only have you passed their guard, you've also opened up back attacks. This is the ultimate guard pass, in my opinion. A pass to the back, best, all right? One more time. Forearm frame, disconnect, get under it, head arm control. Of course, we can start coming in here and flattening him to get to the head arm choke. All right, if you know that, feel free. Otherwise, we're just gonna start turning the corner, getting our chest back behind his spine. The next option is gonna be the peskier option, and that's gonna be where they create a handle, generally by using the gi. Okay, he's gonna be reaching up and grabbing my actual collar. Okay, if this was no gi, he would just kind of cup the neck here. However, in the gi, this can be particularly difficult. I'm not just gonna be able to disconnect because he's holding me now. So now I need to change my orientation. All that means is I'm just gonna rotate and collapse his arm down. So I'm gonna be in the same position. I'm gonna bring my right arm in front as I rotate my body on top of that frame. Be careful if you're holding the arm because, for the person on the bottom, because your wrist is a little bit in danger here, so just understand when to let go. I wanna keep this control on the lever because as I start to turn the corner, we can immediately set up Kimura control, okay? Otherwise, I'm just gonna pull him flat and start getting to my side mount. So that's the nice thing about the leg drag, guys, is you can really go to any position once you're done with it. You can go to side mount, you can go to the knee on belly, you can go to the back, whatever you wanna do, okay? So let's look again at this option. Oh man, come on, buddy. All right, so we're here. He's got the handle, so he's creating a nice handle here. If I just drive into him, all I'm doing is choking myself. Again, this is a frame. I've got to deal with this. So I'm gonna change the orientation of my body. I bring my body around, and I'm gonna start collapsing around that arm. Notice how I bring my elbow in front. This is gonna enable me to control this lever here. Now, as I start turning the corner, I can immediately come for more control because he's gonna probably wanna try to turn away from me. If he tries to turn away from me, I can control this Kimura. If he tries to turn into me, I push it the other way. Now, of course, we can use that to set up our back attacks or just use it to flatten him out and get your chest down on top of him. Alrighty, guys. So one more time, slow motion. They have the handle, change the orientation, collapse. Notice how my knees are still off the mat. I want to keep my weight on him, okay? But I don't want to overextend it. If my head is over here, then he's going to start rolling me. So we always remember our center line. My head should be right above his hips. So now as I start walking, I can control the arm, and then you're ready to set up whatever you want to do. It's entirely up to you guys. Do you want to smash them down in side mount? Do you want to take their back? Do you want to set up an arm bar? Choice is yours, okay? I'll show one more time from the feet, and then we'll get to it. Here we go. So first, he's going to use the forearm. Disconnect, head arm control. Then he's going to use the frame, change the orientation, come in with the control of the lever, and then you're ready to start attacking. Alrighty, guys? Any questions? 1, 2. So this is looking great, guys. Remember, passing the guard is just a series of frame battles. So I put him on his back. Here are the first frames. I've beaten those. Here are the second frames. I've beaten those. Here's the next set of frames. Whatever, I've beaten those. And then once I've beaten all of his frames, then I've passed the guard. So just one little detail I want to mention and touch on, and then we're just going to jump right into drilling, is how to keep his legs turned away from me as I'm walking out of his legs. Because I'm keeping his legs smashed, But as I start walking out of his legs, how do I keep his legs in that position? I either need to have really good hip control. Let's back up there, coach. I either really need to have really heavy hips so that as I'm turning the corner, my hips are going to keep him turned. Or we can start utilizing the leg weave with the hand, right? So let's say I've already beaten the frame, so I'm just going to take my hand. I'm going to get my hand on the mat. I can also cup his pants or grab here as well. And so now I'm keeping his legs turned away. Additionally, if he's in the gi, as I'm turning the corner here, I can reach back and grab the drawstring and start using that to lift his hips off the floor so that he can't hip escape and follow me, okay? This is a common error that I see is, and it's a bummer too, you worked so hard to pass the guard, you beat all these frames, and then you're like, yeah, man, it's go time, and you start passing, and then they just hip escape. Put you back in square one. Man, it sucks. So, if you need some help with that, leg weave, or grab the drawstring and use that to lift their hips off the floor so that way they cannot hip escape. And then you can even use that to start shucking them over and then attacking the back. Whatever, guys. All that matters here is not so much where you end up, so long as you're controlling the hips. That's all I care about. I don't care if you do a beautiful guard pass and get into the mount, or knee on belly, or side mount, or the back. What I care about is that you understand that in order to pass somebody's guard, I want their knees pointing one way so that I can control their hips. That's it. Okay, guys, because that's our main concept. Any questions on the leg drag? All right, so guard passing is very, very extensive, but it's probably my favorite skill set in jiu-jitsu, so that's why I like working on this. We're gonna get into drilling next, guys, unless anyone has any questions. 1, 2, grab some water if you need.